we grew up together and we grew up with our kids together. So
Babies having babies.
exactly. So it's like, her kids see me as like another mama, my kids see her as another mama. So, that's like just something that we do.
Yeah.
Just like family.
Yeah, we were a little family
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
This is the How She Moms podcast with Whitney Archibald. I'm a mother of 5 on a mission to help moms connect with your kids, manage your homes, and create your own unique version of motherhood. I curate ideas from different moms so you can pick and choose what works for you and your family. Devan James and Alexis Mayberry have known each other since middle school. They've supported each other through relationships, babies, and more babies. Last year, they decided to expand their circle of love and support to other moms by recording season 1 of their podcast, Word to Yamova. I stumbled upon it one day, and I ended up listening to several episodes in one sitting. I just love their candid conversation, and the way they talk to each other makes you feel like you're right there with them, part of their village. So when I actually did get to sit down with them, over Zoom at least, I felt like I already kind of knew them. We had a great conversation, from mommy wars to mom guilt to discipline to career choices. This really is the best part of running this podcast. Not only do I get to have great conversation, but then I get to listen to it over and over again as I edit. And by the end, I feel like they're old friends. I started our conversation by asking why they decided to start their podcast.
I feel like we always have mom stories, and like we have other friends that are moms too, and like they have the same stories. And I'm just like, we're always just talking about our kids. We're always just talking about the silly things we do, and like, oh, we're terrible moms. Okay, we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
Like it's just that type of things. I'm like, I feel like other people, they might not have the same type of person I have. They don't
Yeah.
might not have somebody to vent to, or have anybody who has kids that they're friends with, and they just, can't relate to anybody. So I feel like that was something people could like, listen to and be like, oh, it's not just me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the only kid that bumped my kid's head in the wall or something like that. So, just let them know they're not alone.
Yeah.
Well, that
true.
definitely comes through, especially with your podcast, because it feels very real. And I can tell you guys have a good rapport with each other, but also you're telling it how it is. You're not trying to like paint this beautiful, fancy picture of motherhood that we all know is not real. So we need more of that in this world.
Exactly. So another thing is like, we grew up together and we grew up with our kids together. So like,
Babies having babies.
exactly. So it's like, her kids see me as like another mama, my kids see her as another mama. So, that's like just something that we do.
Yeah.
Just like family.
Yeah, we were a little family
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, when I just had Aaliyah, that's my oldest one. When I just had her, I was a single mom, and we were poor. We were just poor, trying to figure out how to navigate through life. We were young parents, so like we would just always have dinners together. I would stay the night at her house, especially if my daughter went to her dad's. I'm like, I'm lonely. I'm going over to Alexis' house.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. So the first episode I listened to of yours was about mommy wars, which was like perfect because I've been researching this for probably a year now, just asking different moms about what this means to them. Is this a real thing? Has it shifted over the years? So I'd love to just know, if you were to define the mommy wars, what does it mean to you guys?
I think it's just stay-at-home moms versus like working moms. And like, I guess the constant battle of like, who's better, who's the better mom? Like, are you really a mom if you're working and you don't see your kids? Are you really a mom if you're staying at home? And just like all the stereotypes that come with being a working mom, like, oh, she doesn't love her kids, she lets somebody else take care of them. And then being a stay-at-home mom, like, oh, they have all the time in the world and they could just do whatever. And it's like, both of those are lies.
Yeah.
It's really hard for both moms. And I think that was like one, because she's come from both aspects of like being a working mom at first, and then now she's still works, but she gets to spend more time with her kids now. And so like, even for us, like growing up, I know we talked a little bit about like we both worked at a daycare together, and there was like some stay-at-home moms, and we were like, why are their kids in daycare? Like, why are they here right at 7 a.m. and coming to pick them up right at 6 o'clock? Like, really judgmental. And so then, like, now we're grown and we have kids, and we're like, I understand why she dropped them off like that and picked them up like that. I'm sorry that we thought of you like that. I'm so sorry. So I think, like you said, everybody, like, we have the media, just how we grew up, we have this visualization of like what moms are supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you like grow up, and sometimes you have to experience it, or just, you know, see other people, and then you're like, oh, okay, I was tripping. I was being super judgmental, and it's hard out here.
It is. And I think sometimes like the working moms are envious of the stay-at-home moms, because they're like, you know, I wish I could stay at home. And then now I'm like, I like staying at home, but I also like not being at home. So it's like a balance. So I think like working moms who haven't like been staying at home, they're kind of just like envious of the stay-at-home moms, because they're just like, you know, a little jealous, you know, of that.
But it's funny because I was jealous of working moms, because I'm like, all I talk to is babies. And then when my husband gets home, I'm like,
oh, so true. Yes. It is interesting how both sides have misconceptions. What do you think we can do to end that within yourself and then reaching outward?
I feel like, well, since I've been able to see both sides, I feel like, you know, just everybody has their own view of like being busy. Like, you know, working moms are busy at work, stay-at-home moms are busy in the house, and, you know, momming doesn't stop 24/7. So that's like the middle line of like, they have that in common. You know, you're a mom, whether you're at work or not, like it doesn't stop. So just like being supportive of both sides, that was more of like the ending for it, I would say. You know, because even with your title that's different, at the bottom line, you still, you know, you still have to be a mom and be a parent, whether you're single or not. So I feel like that's the ending of it. Just, you know, being supportive of those, whether they're working or not. You know, y'all still have the common line of being a parent.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it too is just being more open and trying to be understanding of other people's plights, I guess. Just like, I think that's what mine was, just like, let me just take a sit back and just like not judge people.
Yeah. That's a big one.
I think insecurities play into it too. Like if we feel like we have to keep justifying what we're doing and justifying our decisions, and partly because it's a hard decision and we're justifying it to ourselves and trying to reconfigure that in our own minds. And then we have to have a public front too. And it's so complicated.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, like, even though I was like happy to be a stay-at-home mom, because, you know, I don't have to pay for daycare and just stuff like that. But then like when people would ask me what I do, and I was like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And because I felt like it was just like, I'm not doing enough. Like people are going to be like, oh, you stay at home with your kids. And nobody ever said that to me, but that was something I always had to like wrestle with, was to be like proud that like, no, I get to spend time with my kids. I get to watch them grow. No, like not to be mean towards people that have to send their kids to daycare, because I totally understand that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had to be like comfortable with myself, being like, okay, I stay at home, and that's okay.
And I definitely see the difference, like versus working and staying at home. Like I can be more involved with my kids and like have their feelings all open, and I can do more and see like, I mean, not with Aaliyah, I got to see how she was growing, like her personality and like cognitively and all of that. But it's like I actually have one-on-one experience with my toddler, so it's like the littlest things they do, I'm like, oh, they're so smart. Like, but then when Leah comes home from daycare, I'm like seeing like papers on things that she's doing and getting reports. So it's like I'm not actually seeing those things, I'm just seeing the progression from it. But also like the pandemic, I feel like a lot of working moms, they feel the stay-at-home mom, so they're like, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to put you down, like I need a break too, I get it. So I feel that's kind of like the common denominator of it all too.
Yeah,
the pandemic really helped with that.
I think it helped everybody see like, oh, okay, yeah,
Okay.
I understand now.
I need a drink.
Seriously. I mean, if anybody needs to support each other and needs unity, it's moms. So that's why like this is such a heartbreaking topic for me, because like there should be no infighting. Like we have enough going on.
Exactly. And social media, I feel like that's another thing that's like kind of bringing moms together too, because you're seeing all these reels of these funny videos and you're just like, I'm not by myself. Like it's not just me that's going crazy, having a meltdown and coming back like, what's up? Everything's fine. So it's like everything's normal. Like you're just
That's such a good point, because so many people take it the other way and they're like, oh, social media makes me feel like such a bad mom. But we get to choose who's in our feed. Like we can surround ourselves with the people who, you know, like are real and relatable. And we don't have to like just follow people who are you know, polishing their image and making it look all pristine and easy.
Yeah. That was one thing that we talked about on episode 2 about like having to like unfollow people that are making you like feel bad about yourself, and just finding like people that are like maybe in the same space or like somewhere close to where you want to be, but just like looking at images like that, because that is like depressing.
It is.
You're like, oh my gosh, she's already stepped back. She had her baby 3 days ago. Or like, oh my, she does all these things. And I think that's a part of it too, was just comparing yourself as a mom to other moms. Like even like sometimes I compare myself to her, or she compares herself to me. And we have to be like, no, we have to be comfortable in our own motherhood.
Yeah.
And that helps, you know, yourself and you be a better mother.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about mom guilt in that episode. What are kind of your triggers for mom guilt, and how do you get past that? Or do you?
Mine is discipline and just personal time. So like I feel like I have learned to like, you know, be more patient, but like, you know, every parent, they have their time where they yell at their kids or something like that. So my kids are very verbal with their emotions. So I yell at them like, Mommy, why are you yelling at me? Why are you being mean? Like that makes me feel so bad inside. I'm like, I wonder if they think about this at night. Like I felt so bad. So even when I know like that I'm irritated and I lose my cool, like, you know, I just feel so bad. Like if I say something that hurt their feelings, I just give them a hug. I'm like, I'm just so sorry. There's gonna be more people mean in the world, and I don't need to be one of them. So you know, that's a real guilt that I have, especially my eldest. Like I'm just not built to raise a teenager. Like she's not even there yet, and I'm just like, is this the beginning? Because if so, we just need to pause and go to 21 because I can't do it. So like with her, it's that age is just. It's just wild. Their emotions going haywire. I'm trying to be understanding with that. Like I'm like, you know, have to think I've been there, and I just thought like everything was like dramatic. Like everything was just like terrible. Real life didn't matter because I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to pay no bills. That was not an issue to me. So like I try to like be understanding that, you know, there's other kids in her grade. I don't know what she's going through. I try to be understanding with that, but I just feel like after I repeat myself so many times, like I'm going to yell at 35. I'm going to tell you to clean your room at the 35th time. And I feel bad. Like sometimes like, I feel like I was really mean today. And then I try to apologize. And then the attitude comes back. I'm like, oh, nope, shut the door. So that's another. It's discipline and then enjoying time on myself. Like I feel I'm just gonna, you know, and I just feel like when I need a break, I go out with my fiance, we get some drinks or we, you know, have a date night or something. And the whole time we talk about our kids, I'm like, I miss them. I wonder if we should have stayed home. Like that's like a guilt that I have sometimes. But I mean, I just deal with it then. But as far as like the discipline guilt, I just kind of like, you know, just love on my babies, or the oldest one try to love on her. But most of the time I'm just talking to the door like, I'm sorry. We'll talk tomorrow. So that's just the two guilts that I really have.
I think I just my thing is always I've always compared myself to other people. So like with mommy and I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, she does this with her kids and
Mm.
they do this with their kids and they do this with their family. And I'm like, why are we not doing that? And then I spiral. So I have to like be like, Alexis, it's okay. This is your family. This is what we do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and just I don't know. I just have to talk to myself
Yeah.
and be like, chill out, because you're wilding. And I think her thing with discipline to my oldest isn't a 10, but like I'd be like, you're going on 20.
It's starting early.
It's starting so early, but she's always been like, you know, older. Like she's always, because she was the youngest and everybody else was like teenagers, like my brother and my husband's sisters and stuff. So she's always been like the baby, but she's like she can go up to a grown person and have like an adult conversation. Like she doesn't know a stranger. So like sometimes like with her when it comes to discipline, I feel like I'm always on her, but then I'm like, you just do stupid stuff. Like I don't understand. Like I'm like, was I like this? But I don't think I was. But I'm like, I might have been. I don't know. But I'm just like, what's happening? And so like this I always say, I'm like, she's gonna have to go to therapy because of me. And so like I'm trying to combat, like, okay, I keep saying that, but that means I can change it. So I have to, like she said, be patient. I have to give myself patience and give myself grace, because we're not perfect, we're not robots, and we're gonna make mistakes. And as long as I feel like I can like go back and apologize or really try to change my behavior, I think that's like something that I'm working working on. But yeah, mine's is just, I think, yeah, my guilt is just I have to be, like I said earlier, just content in my motherhood and content in who I'm at and who I am to help me be a better mom.
Yeah, and you know the effort that you're putting into it, which is the most important thing. Like
Yeah.
you're always trying to improve, and you know that goes a long way. But also, like, who wants perfect parents? Like, not me.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true
So
too.
if they see
Oh,
you
I hold it up
make
too.
mistakes and they see you apologize for those, like that's a pretty healthy way to grow up, actually, because you know, they're they're going to make mistakes and feel terrible if they've never seen that modeled to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about something like that and breaking the cycle because especially like in Black culture, we've always been taught to respect your parents. Don't say anything back. You can't really speak your mind. Like if you say something now, my mom's like, I never did that. And I'm like, but you did. Mom listens to our podcast and she's like, I want to talk to you about this episode. I'm like, Mom, it's just my view. It's not saying anything bad, but it's just my view. But like now, like I guess we've seen how we didn't turn out bad, but at the same time, we wish we had more of a voice. So like, we've learned to like, have a sit down with our kids and let them explain their feelings and like just talk more and be more open. And I feel like that's like a big cycle that we decided to break, have them be more open and so they can like do that with their kids, trickle that down, keep that cycle going.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I just saw that episode actually. I didn't I've listened to two or three of your episodes, but I just saw that one and so I'm excited to listen to that one. It looks like a good topic. 'Cause yeah, we all have that even if we overall feel like our parents did a great job, there's generational things and just we know
Yeah.
more, you know, research keeps improving and so I like that topic. I would like to know just coming from both sides for you with motherhood and work, what do you think are the challenges of each one, and how has it impacted what you do as a stay-at-home mom?
Um, Again, patience, because like, when you have to go somewhere, you have to be ready and you have to get your kids ready. But versus like when I don't have anywhere to go and I just have to, drop my oldest off at school, I can literally just leave my pajamas on, not put a bra on, put a hoodie on, and just drop her off, not even brush my teeth. So that's a big difference, like patience and what is it? timing, that's like another big thing. Um, because I have extra time since I'm stay at home. But working, it was just so, I would say it was more organized. It was so structured because, of course I have to be somewhere. So I have to make sure everybody's up, everything's done, that's a big difference. But being at home, I have a lot more time to just slowly get ready, or I don't even have to put on clothes today if I don't want to. Like that's another thing. But since I'm in school now, I still have a little leeway because there's mornings I don't have class until the afternoon, so I still can be lagging with time. I don't have to rush as much. I don't have to be ready before I drop my oldest off, and I feel like that's a little bit more of a stress reliever for me because I don't have to, like, if I start the day off bad, then the rest of the day is going to be like that. But if I start the day off bad and I don't have to go to work, I have time to like fix it, to rearrange my mood and everything like that. But if I have to go to work, it's like I have an attitude, so nobody better talk to me today. So it's like that type of thing. But I honestly like, I wouldn't say I miss working like full time, but I mean, I miss being able, I feel like I may have lost myself a little bit being a stay-at-home mom because I don't comb my hair as much. I don't get to have, free time as much and interact with a lot of people. But I do like being home with my kids. Like I said before, like I really, really love to see them grow, to be able to do activities with them at home that they would possibly do at daycare, just see them learn new things. And they are like obsessed with me. Not saying they wouldn't if I was at work, but they're just like, they just want to be in my skin. Like they're so obsessed with me. And I'm just like, come here, I'll just love you. So, I mean, I just love being at home a lot more than working full time because I was working at Ford and I was working, first I was working night shift when it was just Leah. And I kind of wish that I had this opportunity with her because I would be able to be with her a lot more. I was like, when I had the other two, that's what made me stop and start going to nursing school and have to like talk to my fiance, like, I gotta quit. Like, I can't do it. I was working 6 days a week, night shift, and that was 11 hours. And then I started going to nursing school for 2 quarters, and I was working that night shift, and me and him would fight because we're both tired. So we're both sleepy, getting on each other's nerves, like trying to who got the most sleep at night. There was no schedule in the home because he works for a school, like he's a teacher, so he comes home, I go to work. So he's trying to get the home together, doesn't really have a schedule with the kids. I come home, Aria took 30-minute naps, so that was my sleep. I slept an hour, took Alita to school, came back, they're up in my face. Timmy would take a nap. That's my son, he's the 3-year-old. He would take a good 2-hour nap. She would sleep 30 minutes and then be up. And I was nursing. It was a lot. It was so
hard.
I was just like, we need to talk because I can't do it. I want to go back to school. I had planned on going back to school anyway, but it was just trying to do both of those. Like, it was just like either I quit and report and we figure something out, or I stay at work and we make good money and we're just miserable. So it was a choice, but I mean, we're okay. Like, we're doing fine. I graduated 9 months. So, I still was like, I still want to work part-time as a nurse and then gradually full-time because I kind of like this life. But it's a big difference, like staying home and then working. I feel like my mind is a bit more calm now. Like, it's not as hectic as it was before. Yeah. And that was really hard, like nursing too. Like, I could not keep up with my milk because I wasn't sleeping and I was just stressed. It was just so hard. And then the job, like, Ford was terrible. Like, when I was pregnant with my son, they put me out of work because I had to go to the bathroom. Like, they didn't want to let me go to the bathroom. And literally the bathroom was like where I work, because of course, you know, it's a factory job, like across from me was the bathroom. It'll literally take me 3 minutes. And of course I had to pee a lot. I was pregnant.
Right.
So I went to the side, and the manager's like, is there a reason why you keep going to the bathroom?
Well, yeah, look at this.
I'm like 6.5, 7 months at this point. So I'm just looking like, I know I don't look bad. Like, I know I don't look bad. So like that's another thing. Like that was another stress thing, because, you know, we had to dip into savings because of that, because they put me out of work so early. So I wasn't getting like the same pay I was before. And then when I came back, it was like another ordeal to let me go off the line before break time to go pump. Like it was so much. And I'm like, this is not worth it.
It's not mom friendly.
It wasn't. Eventually they did create a pump room for us, but that was like a whole fight. And I was just like, I don't want to work here anymore. Yeah. It was nice while it lasted, but the money isn't everything at that point. So it was just so much stress. And I was like, I'd rather not work and try to find something that I love doing versus working and like trying to make a living and just our house being chaotic and broken. So and that was the best decision I ever made. The best, because now like we have a lot of support. We're doing pretty okay, and you know, we get more time with the family. We have a lot more family time. Yeah. And I think that also made a change in Aaliyah too, like me not working during the night and me being home. I kind of seen a change in her. She actually enjoys that, whether she says she does or not. So.
Right. Oh, that's great. I mean, if you go back to the mommy wars, like that's such a poignant thing. Once you hear somebody's story and you hear the reasons and you hear, you know, what went into your decisions. Mm-hmm. I think that's a huge other way to just help us relate to each other, because, you know, once we understand where we're coming from, and that, you know, yeah, you're making certain value judgments, but you're not saying that's true for everyone, but that was certainly a great decision for you to make. The more we hear each other's stories, the closer we are to ending this pretend war.
One thing about moms, I think, is like if there's a will, we'll make a way. Like I feel like no matter circumstance, we will make things happen for us, whether it's something that needs to be done or that we want to do. I feel like moms will always like make a sacrifice and figure it out, because I feel like that's just in our blood.
Yeah.
It's just in us, in the moms. Like we'll figure it out. Like it's a determination I feel like all moms have.
Thank you so much for listening to the How She Moms podcast and for being part of this community. There are so many other ways for you to connect and hopefully also contribute. I share tips and ideas regularly on Instagram and Facebook at How She Moms. You can find past episodes and other resources at howshemoms.com. And you can always just email me directly at whitney@howshemoms.com. Special thanks to my own wonderful mom, Susan Singley, for recording my theme music. She played this song all the time when I was growing up, and to me, it's the soundtrack of motherhood.